Good day, friends. It is me, HLModTech, and it is time for another SketchUp 3-pack. This one's going to be intermediate level, so let's get cracking. Good day, friends. It is me, HLModTech, and we are back for another awesome project in my.sketchup. So, friends, let's get cracking. Friends, the first step is to type my.sketchup.com or click the link in the description, or if you're in my classroom, I'll add a link. Or if you're in my classroom, there will be a link in the, or if you're in my Google Classroom, there will be an assignment post as well. I want you to click the home button, and that lets you create new, and we're going to build with feet and inches. Once this opens, let's click the untitled box, click on the SketchUp box, and at the bottom, type city and put our initials. Move over and hit the Save Here button. You will see that it says saving. You will see that it says city with your name, and then we can click on the lady and delete her. Alrighty, friends, I need you to memorize a couple numbers for this next part. When I've seen people struggle is when they try and go back and forth between the movie. The numbers are simple. I'm going to flash them on the screen right here. It's 100, the foot symbol, comma, 80, the foot symbol, and press enter. So now, let me show you how it happens on the screen. Alrighty, friends, so as you can see, I've got my mouse on the screen so you can see it as well. We're going to start with the select tool and then click, and notice I release. This is where the finger comes off. Choose the rectangle, finger comes off the mouse, click the origin. Once again, that finger comes off, and then here's where you let go of the mouse and then type the numbers. 100, foot symbol, comma, 80, foot symbol, and press enter. It makes that exact shape right there. I'm going to scroll out. You can see I'm using the scroll wheel to scroll out. I'm also going to click on the orbit tool so I can see it from a better angle. I can also choose the pan tool to drag it where I want. These views let us get the exact view for what we're trying to do. Once again, I'm going to click the select tool, then I'm going to click the measuring tool and choose the dimension tool. Once again, I'm going to click a first point and let go, move all the way to the origin, click and let go, and then when I pull the mouse towards me a little bit, I can click and make that measurement permanent. I'm going to go up to the top corner, click and let go. I'm trying to emphasize that finger comes off, I go back to the end point, click and let go, and then I move a little bit out and click and make it permanent. That, my friends, is how you click and release as you're using my.sketchup. This time we're going to move over and select the push-pull tool. Notice I click and let go, move on top so we can see those dots, click and let go. We want to make our building 40 feet tall and press enter. Let's click on view and choose zoom to extents, scroll out a little bit. Make sure we've got our orbit tool, which you could use the scroll wheel, and just look at our building from every side. Alright, friends, we've practiced the click and release. Let's try it again. Rectangle tool, move in front of our shape, click and release, and notice that's a normal door. Now instead, you can see I released. I want you to tap control and notice this door goes around that center spot. I don't care how big you make it, but I want you to make it look like an entry for a business, and click and make it permanent. At that point, I want you to click on the eraser or press the letter E, that is the shortcut, and we can erase those pieces that were below. So now our door is exactly in the middle. Let's give the door a frame by clicking the push-pull tool and selecting the offset tool. I'm going to click on the center and let go, and then I just want to get that framed so it goes past my door. Once again, we need to use the eraser, and we can zoom in, and we're going to erase those little pieces underneath. Remember, you've got to get the dot exactly on the center so that it erases well. Alright, friends, we've got that door. Let's add the middle rail. Once again, let's go to the rectangle tool, and let's go to that midpoint and click and make sure we tap control so that it switches to the rectangle that goes both ways. I'm going to zoom in so I can make it pretty small. I'm going to zoom out so I can see the extra piece that's down below. Click the eraser And then make sure you delete that bottom part so that it all goes away. When you've got yours like that, you can erase this little piece and we can start painting our building. Click your materials. I'm going to just choose a color for the outside of the door. I'm going to use a brown and just fill in that gap. I'm going to the brick and cladding for the building. Notice it's a large building, so the bricks look a little bigger. Pushing the scroll wheel and rotating so I can see every side. And then I'm going to collapse that group and move down and find the glass. If I collapse the colors, that makes that faster as well. And I'm going to put glass windows right there so we can actually see in our building. Alright friends, let's do something kind of cool with our roof. Switch to your push-pull tool and choose offset. Click up on that roof. Remember, let go. You can see that finger letting go. And move your mouse towards the outside edge. We want to leave a little gap on the outside. I'm not going to give you a special number. Just pick a gap. Then click and release. Choose push-pull and raise it up so that now there is a place for people to stand on the top of your building. Let's paint those pieces as well really quickly. I'm going to go back to my brick and cladding and I'm going to use the same brick along the top. Remember that you push the scroll wheel in so you can orbit and see those other sides. And then I'm going to put a asphalt covering for the top of the roof. Let's real quickly add a window. Once again, we're going to go back to our rectangle tool, select rectangle, and this time I'm going to tell you to click and let go, and then just type 10 feet, comma, 10 feet, and press enter, so that your window looks exactly like that. I'm going to collapse this, collapse my cladding, find my window, and put that material in that spot. Let's click on offset again, and offset again. Click on the window and stretch it out past so it has a cool border on the outside. Let's switch back to our colors and find a color that you want to put around it. You can pick any color you want. Alright friends, this one's kind of tricky, so make sure you follow it closely. Right click on your building and choose hide. Right click on the floor and hide it. Right click on that back wall and choose hide it. So all we did is make it so that the only thing we can really see is that window. Grab all that window, right click, and make it a component. Call it win, and we're going to tell it to cut the opening, and we're going to tell it OK. Now over on our panel, click on the glasses, and we want to unhide all. Now with your select tool, click on the cool shape you just made and find the move tool. We want to move it from this corner to this side, but are you ready for this? Watch my fingers. We click and let go. See that red line stretching across. Now tap Control, and instead of moving, it makes a copy. When you click and set it down, it will be permanent and you will instantly have 2 awesome windows. Make sure you follow that click and let go. Make sure you tap Control on the keyboard to enable the copy. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to click on this one, tap the Control so it's in copy mode, and put one right beside it. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to hit spacebar so I'm in select mode. I'm going to use the M, which is the shortcut for move. And now when I tap Control, I have got 4 awesome windows on my sweet building. Alrighty friends, so we have built one cool building, we've added some sweet windows and some sweet shapes. Now your challenge is to make the city. Make another building, add some cool windows. Notice I made one and I used the cool copy technique to make them show up pretty quick. And have fun as you make another awesome building. This one you don't have to measure anything, this one you did. Make sure you always save. If you ever mess something up, use undo, and then when you're finished, remember I need you to export a PNG so you can turn it in. Get your angle so it's just the way you like it, zoom in, find the coolest view ever, and then when you're done, hit export as PNG. If it gives you the larger image, you can tell it don't do that again. It should automatically save it to your downloads. Mine, I have to put it in the downloads folder. City MDH is already named, and boom, you're ready to turn it into Google Classroom. Friends, remember, if you make anything awesome, it's super cool if you share it with me. I am at HLModTech on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also send me an email at HLModTech on Gmail as well, or even check out the HLModTech website. Friends, if you found the video useful, please give it a like. If you got a question, comment, or a suggestion, add it down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button, and last but not least, hit that notification bell if you want to be the first to know when there's a brand new video from me, HLModTech. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Good day, friends. It is me, HLModTech, and I'm back with another sweet my.sketchup lesson. Today, my friends, we're going to make a car, so let's get cracking. First things first, you need to visit my.sketchup.com. You can do that by typing my.sketchup.com or using the link in the description. When we get there, we're going to do home, create a new file, and we're going to make this one out of millimeters. When it launches, we can click on the person on the screen, click delete, and get rid of her. Click Untitled, click your SketchUp button, and then move down and type car with your initials. I've made 1 or 2, so I'm going to call this car 3 and hit save here. You'll notice up top it says saving. When it's done, it won't be blue anymore. Alright friends, SketchUp is a click and release program. So notice I'm on the select tool, which the shortcut is the space bar. I'm going to click the rectangle tool, and look at that finger, it comes off the mouse. That's why I'm showing you this. It's because I've seen a lot of people struggle with it. I'm going to click and release to grab a rectangle. I am going to click on the origin and release. That finger is off. And then I'm going to type 150, comma, 70 and press enter. That's how you make a rectangle to exact measurements. It's the let go part that lets us type it. I'm going to switch views to the extents, and then I'm going to use the scroll wheel to roll back. You could click the orbit tool, you could press your scroll wheel in, or you can hit the letter O to switch and be able to just drag with your mouse. Notice I'm pushing down when I do that. Our car is going to be really simple. We're going to first click on the line tool, and we're going to move to the midpoint. Notice it gives us that cyan color. And then we click and let go. See, that finger's away. Move to the other side and find the other midpoint and click and make it permanent. I'm going to then cut off any part I want for my front windshield, any part I want for my back windshield. I'm going to use E for eraser, which I could have just clicked it. And then I'm going to click right on the corner, and it gets rid of all of that at once. If you miss, you just click and do it twice. I'm going to also erase this one right here. I'm going to switch to push-pull, but I'm going to use the shortcut P to switch. I'm going to lift a little. Notice that finger comes off, and I'm going to type 55 for the distance I want that to be. Right there is my car body shape. We need to rotate our car so we can see it better. I'm going to click on the select tool, hit the letter O so I can orbit, and get so I can see my whole vehicle. I'm going to switch to the select tool, and I'm going to grab everything. This is important that you've got it all selected. You could also do Control A. I'm going to switch to the Move tool, and I'm going to switch to Rotate. I'm going to click on the origin so that the red side is facing forward. You don't want the other ones. And then I'm going to click on the top edge. So notice it was 2 clicks, and then it lets me rotate it so I can lay it down. I'm going to click to make it permanent. Switch back to the select tool, grab everything again, and this time I'm going to do move. I'm going to go to the midpoint, and I'm going to move that to the origin. Just like that, friends, you have made a sweet little car. I'm going to hit O for orbit and drag so I can look at it from the side. Alright friends, let's click back on our select tool, which is also the space bar, and we need to connect this side for our next project. So just use your line tool and connect across. Orbit to the other, see the other side. I'm going to hit the letter O so I can just drag and switch. And what we're doing is we're cutting our car's top. I want to make this so it looks a little skinnier on the top side. Alright friends, we need to click twice so we have the top face and its edges selected. Under the Move tool is an amazing tool called Scale. It's got a way for us to scale about the center. So what I want you to do is hold Control and just squeeze in a little bit so that your car has got sloped edges. I'm going to switch to the Select tool, hit the letter O for Orbit, and check it out. Now our car's got a little bit of a cool slope where its windows would be. Let's create our windows super fast, first by taking the pencil and just coming down midpoint to midpoint and get as close as you can to perfect. I'm going to orbit to the other side by hitting O, rotating, switching back to that line, once again finding that midpoint, guessing on this midpoint. They won't be perfect, but it'll be fine. The shortcut I want you to use right now is F, and it's for offset. Remember, we could find it on this tool, but it's so much faster. Notice I clicked and removed, and right now I want you to type the number 5 for how large the offset is. Click the next one. If it accidentally clicks and sticks, just do Control Z to undo. We want to click and leave it adjustable, and I'm going to make my back 5 as well and press Enter. O is for orbit. Let's spin around. Once again, hit F for offset. Let's make a front windshield. I'm going to make this 5 as well. O is for orbit. Spin around. F is for offset. When I type the 5 and press Enter, it snaps to that magic measurement. It was still in offset mode, or the letter F, 5, and Enter. And let's go to the back, and let's make this one 7, so it's got a smaller back window, and press Enter. If they're windows, we need to make them look like glass, so let's click on the materials, click on search, find our materials. The glass is right here. I'm going to choose the blue one, and I'm just going to paint those windows super quick. I'm going to push in with the scroll wheel to orbit, paint, paint, scroll wheel, orbit, paint. Just like that, our car has got pretty sweet windows and a pretty sweet body. Let's hit E for erase and get rid of that center post. I'm going to push in the scroll wheel, or you could use the letter O, and then notice it's that circle that we click on to erase that. Let's paint our car really quick. I'm going to hit the Select tool, and I'm going to hide my windows, because by doing this, orbit, hide, orbit, hide, orbit, hide, and get the last one, I can paint it all in one step. So right now, if I grab the entire thing, close the glass and mirrors, switch to the colors, I can find an awesome color and paint my car in one click. Now I can hit the Views button and unhide everything so my windows are right back where they were when we started. I'm going to add a cool curve to the front of my car. We can click the Arc tool, and then this may take you a couple tries, but find a spot that you can click on, then click on the front edge, and make sure you come up and at least touch the front of your car. Notice I got that tiny piece that's hanging off. That's perfect. I can erase that. So now it goes from end to end, there's no gaps. And then when I switch to push-pull, I can push this across. Notice I go all the way to that end point, and it cuts it off, and now my car's got a sweet rounded front end. I'm going to leave my back end straight so that way I can tell them apart better. And now I'm going to take my car, grab it all, and I'm going to make it a group so that it's one piece and nothing else we build actually interacts with it. They can sit on it, but they won't become part of it. Our car looks pretty sweet, but if you see in there, there is a blue piece that we really don't want. If we double click, we can edit the car, and I'm going to right click to hide this piece of blue, and I'm going to right click to hide the window, and now I can click on that flat piece that was across my entire car where the seats would go. I'm going to hit delete, and now you can see in the car better, and when we click outside, it comes back. Notice our stuff is hidden. To bring that back, we do have to edit, and we have to unhide it. Then we can put it away. Now we will hide that again in a minute, but at least we know we have to double click to make that happen. Friends, it is time to add seats to our car. Simply grab the rectangle, and then I want you to type 30, 20. It should make a rectangle that goes the same direction as our car. Then we can switch to push-pull with the letter P, or you can click the tool. I want you to lift it up 15 and press enter. Near the back, I want you to find a spot for the top of the seat, draw a line across it. Once again, you can press L to hit the line tool. P is for push-pull, and we're going to push-pull 25 high for that. We're going to switch to the move tool. I'm going to use the letter M, and I want to click just on this blue line. And I'm going to use the midpoint, and then I can move along that red axis to give it a nice slant. I want to trim off some pieces of this to make it look cool. So I'm going to grab the line tool, and I'm just going to cut somewhere off the back so people have room for their feet. I'm going to use O for orbit, turn so I can see an angle because I want to see that back corner. P for push-pull, and I want to push this red arrow back to that side or one of these. So I'm using a back point as the place that it clips off. I want to also have room for their legs to go over instead of this a sharp edge, so I'm going to trim this as well. Once again, P for push-pull. It was L to get that other tool, and this is easier to see. When I click on this endpoint, you see it slices that off perfectly. I'm going to switch to the space bar, and I'm going to triple click. If you do 3 clicks fast, 1, 2, 3, it grabs everything, and then we are going to right click and make it a component. I am going to call it seat, and I've made 1 or 2 of these while I was finding the perfect version, and tell it OK. I'm going to use the move command to move this little guy inside my car, and I'm going to get him on this edge just the way I would want, but then you can see he's running into the window. So I'm going to click on his little edge, and I'm going to just move it on the green axis. When it shows me that, then I'm going to type 2 for how many millimeters I want it to move that way, and press enter. Notice now it does not stick out through the window anymore. I'm going to make a copy of it, and I'm going to move it across, and I'm going to open up the car so that it's easier. So I'm going to hit space bar, and I'm going to double click and edit my car, and I want to hide all these pieces in the middle. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle that touches them, and I'm going to choose hide. I'm going to draw a rectangle that touches just them, and I'm going to do hide. I'm going to click over here to make that so it stays. Now I'm going to hit M for move. I'm going to grab a corner on my seat and tap control so it's making a copy. Once again, I can move it all the way to the edge, and then I can grab back here and move it on the green axis, type the number 2, and press enter to lock it into place. I want a bench seat in the back. I'm going to make that with this same piece by doing control and moving a copy out, but then I'm going to explode it. So I'm going to hit the space bar, right click, and I'm going to explode that part because I don't want it to be the same size as these other seats. I do want it to be a bench seat, so I'm going to hit P for push-pull, and I'm going to pull it across, and I'm going to go another 25 millimeters. I'm going to then triple click it, 1, 2, 3, so it grabs it all, and I'm going to just make this a group because I'm only going to have 1 of these. M is for move, and I'm going to move it back to that edge where I want it. I'm going to take a look at where it turned out. That's pretty good. It's a little too far back, so I'm going to move it forward. That's better. And then once again, I'm going to move it across, and you can see the green line poking through the car, and I know I want to move it in 2 millimeters. And then I'm going to hit spacebar, and I'm going to hide this side so I can edit that even easier. So I'm going to double click to edit this part, right click, hide that side, click somewhere to make it permanent. Now I can click on this, choose S for scale, and I want to find the middle, not the edges, not the bottom. I want to find the middle, and I just want to scale it out to where it's going to be at the exact spot I want. And I'm watching, I can see it poke through up at the top, so I'm going to stop right there. Now I think it looks pretty sweet on both sides, and I can double click on my shape, click the display button, and bring back all my hidden parts so that we can finish our sweet car. Alright friends, this is one of my favorite things. It's time to paint those inside. I'm going to right click and hide the car, and because we made this a component, I can double click to edit it. I can move to my materials. I can pick a cool color. I'm going to go into the carpet, and I'm going to cover mine with this dark gray. Notice when I paint this one, so I could paint it one piece at a time, or if I do space bar, I can triple click to select it all, and I can paint it in one quick click. I'm going to hit my select tool, which is the space bar, and you can see those turned out good. And then I'm going to edit this one. Remember, it is a group, so we can double click it, and then I'm going to triple click 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to add that same color to the back seats. Click my select tool, and boom, our car is painted. I'm going to return to the display button, and let's quickly do unhide all. How sweet is that? It is never a bad time to hit save so you don't lose anything. Also, if you haven't noticed, these are undo and redo. Out on the front, let's draw a headlight. Just click and draw whatever size you want. You know you need 2 of them. I'm going to actually type 5 millimeters, so mine turns out that size. P is for push-pull, and I'm going to pull it out 2 millimeters. I want the edge to be gray, so I'm going to go back to my paint, and I'm going to choose a gray for the edge. I want the front to be yellow. Let's scroll up and find a cool yellow. So if we click one piece of that, right-click, choose Edit, and do All Connected, it grabs that whole part, and we can do Make Component. I'm going to put HL for headlight, tell it OK, and then if I do Move, I can go to that front edge, tap Move, and just move it along, and boom, you've got 2 instant headlights. Once again, the nice thing about the headlight is if you select tool, double click, pick a different color for one, it paints the other one as well. Let's go back to the back and add a quick tail light. I'm going to draw these with a rectangle. Once again, click, stretch, draw whatever size you want. P for push-pull, pull it out 2 millimeters. I'm going to press enter. I'm going to do that same, click once, right click, select, and we want all connected, and we're going to make it a component as well. This will be TL for tail light. I'm going to do M for move, and I'm going to just move from this corner to this corner. Tap control so that they're both a match. I'm not going to worry about lining them up perfectly because really I'm just more interested in you having all these skills. Let's double click and edit the one, and I'm going to paint orange on the front, and I'm going to paint the gray out on the edges. This one I'm going to have to spin around so I can see underneath. Remember, you can push in your scroll wheel and look under so you can see those other corners. Click somewhere else to make it permanent, and boom, you've got an awesome little car with sweet little headlights, taillights, and seats. Alright friends, it's time to add wheels to our cars. Once again, we're going to design one wheel and add it to the rest of the car when we're done. Click on the rectangle tool and choose your circle. Find the spot where you want to put your wheel. I'm going to just go back close to where my edge of my seat would be. And then I'm going to tell you that 15 is a good wheel size for our vehicle. Once again, we're going to do spacebar. We are going to triple click that, and we're going to make it a component. I'm going to call it wheel. And then I'm going to double click to get in and edit it. I'm going to do push pull, and I'm going to pull it out 12 millimeters. I'm going to move to the offset tool with the letter F, and I'm going to make the wheel width whatever I think looks cool. I'm going to hit push pull again after I click and set that down, and I'm going to push it in just a little bit. I'm going to do spacebar, and I'm going to triple click. When it's all selected, I'm going to go to my colors, and I'm going to find a black paint and make my tire nice and black. Click somewhere else and set it down. I want the inside of that to be gray, so I'm going to double click it, and I'm going to click the inside piece and paint it like that. I think that looks even cooler. You may want tad texture so that it's gray on the outside as well. So you've got different combinations of how you can make your tires look more awesome. You can add any colors you want as you make it look as sweet as you want. I'm going to select somewhere else to make it permanent. I'm going to do M for move. I'm going to click on the bottom edge, tap control to make a copy, zoom out so I can see where I want to put it, and I'm going to just put it like that. Let's do spacebar and click on the first one. Hold shift and click on the second one. Do M for move, and I'm going to grab this outside edge. Start moving it, but tap control. When it shows it's on the green axis, I'm going to set it extra far away. And then I'm going to zoom so I can see that side and connect it better. If I grab this edge, it's real easy to keep it on that green axis and just snap it right in place. So we need to flip these so they're the other way. Watch how cool this is. If you go from the right to the left, anything you touch gets selected. If I go from the left to the right, nothing gets selected. So there I just grabbed those two shapes, tap M for move, and if we just click this rotation handle right here, you can flip them over and get them perfect. I went one click too far. I can just bring it back like that. Spacebar, click, and check out our sweet little car. Friends, it's never a bad time to hit save. Let's hit that again. Alright friends, so there you have it, a sweet little car. I am going to call it done at this point. We've put a lot of time in it, and hopefully you've learned a lot of skills and mastered a lot of shortcuts. You can still add cool things like a spoiler. You can change anything you want. You could have brake lights, tail lights. You could even add a license plate. I just recommend everything you do, you either make as a group or a component so it's easier to place it where it goes. Friends, if you do make something awesome, don't forget you can export as a PNG, and you can actually send me a link of what you made. You can find me at HLModTech on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. You could also send an email. I am HLModTech@gmail, or you can visit and use the messaging at HLModTech.com. Of course, friends, if you found the video useful, please give it a like. If you got a question, comment, or a suggestion, add it down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button, and last but not least, hit that notification bell if you want to be the first to know when there's a brand new video from me, HLModTech. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Good day, friends. It is me, HLModTech, and today I've got an awesome lesson for you where we're going to play in my.sketchup, or if you've got a school account, it is SketchUp for Schools. So my friends, let's get cracking. When you first launch SketchUp, you'll have to agree to their terms, and then you can choose Create New, and we want to use Simple Template Millimeters. This person that is in here is just here to show a scale. Let's click on her and hit the delete key to erase her. For our project today, we're going to work on some basic skills and make an awesome train. So start by clicking the rectangle tool. Notice it gives us lots of tools to pick from. We want to use this first rectangle, and then we want to move to what's called the origin. It's where all of these planes come together. Click and let go of your mouse so that it's stretching out in this way. And if you look down at the right, see those dimensions? It's typing 1900. We want to make that 150 and then do a comma, and then I want to make it 60 wide and press enter. Notice it makes a tiny shape down here. We click this button and move down to the zoom to extents, and it zooms right in. If you roll your scroll wheel back, it lets you see it better. If we switch to the orbit tool, you can use your mouse to turn it so it's a different angle. Now I told you we were going to make a train, so watch this. Find the push-pull, and let's pull it up. Once again, click and let go of the button, and then I want you to type 60 for the height of the engine that we're making. The next tool I want to show you is down here by the ruler, and I want you to find the dimension tool. When you click the dimension tool, you have to click once for a starting point, a second time for the end point, and then move your mouse out or down so that you can mark the distance that is. So our train is 150 millimeters long, which is what we told it to be a moment ago. If you missed a measurement, you can just use undo to go back to where it was. The other tool I'd like you to see is the tape measure tool. This shows you a permanent dimension. This lets you click, stretch it out in a direction, and then type a number that you want. I want you to type 60 and press enter, and see that little dot it made. That's where we're going to make our train's cabin. When we click the line tool, we can stretch across and see that green line. That means we've just created a straight shape. Let's go back to push-pull, click and release and just lift it up, and then we want to type 45 for the height of our engine on our train. Let's make an area for the person to sit real quick by using the amazing offset tool. So if you switch from push-pull to offset and then click the face up top, I want you to leave it again adjustable and then type the number 5 and press enter. It offsets it 5 on every side. Return to that sweet push-pull tool. We want to push-pull the center, and then this is my favorite part. Take a look at this red arrow. I have clicked and let go, and I'm going to put an arrow pointing at the red arrow, and then watch this. If I move it to that corner and click, that's called inferring. I said, hey, SketchUp, I want you to make this push all the way down to that exact spot. So you use the red arrow to click where you want it to go. All right, friends, let's cut out some windows on this. Before we need to draw these lines to make this a shape all the way around. So now we've got a square, another square face. Now notice if I go kittywampus, it doesn't show me the green line, show me I'm on the right axis. That is a way that it tells you where you want to be. And then we're going to go back to that amazing offset tool. And once again, we're going to click and let go and type the number 5 and press enter. Click and let go, type the number 5 and press enter. Go to the other sides and do the same thing, 5 enter and 5 enter. Return to your tools over here and find the push-pull tool. Once again, we're going to use that pointy little red arrow. We're going to push this face, and we want to push it to this edge. Doesn't matter which spot on the edge you click, boom, it cuts out that nifty little window just like that. We will have to cut out the actual face, but it only takes a moment when we're done. And then we will have a beautiful cabin for our trains engineer to sit on. So, spacebar lets me pick the select tool, delete, 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 delete. And there is our sweet trains cabin. We'll put a roof on this when we're done. Right now, let's give an engineer a place to stand. So, push-pull, push it down a little bit, and then type the number 30 for how far down the floor is for them to be at. So with our location, let's add something on the front for where the boiler would be. Once again, go push-pull, and let's push this down 30 as well. Click on the arc tool, and I want you to choose the second arc down. Click the front edge, click the other edge, and then come up, making sure you're on the blue axis, and then see where it says 25? I want you to type 35 and press enter. Notice it pushes that all the way out above that line. We can then erase that line, switch to push-pull, and we can pull the engine out on our vehicle. Just like that, our train is starting to look more like a train. Trains are always above the ground, so click on this bottom face, lift it up a little bit, and let's type 15 for how high it is above the ground. Let's add a couple of headlights to our engine real quick. Go back and find your tape measure tool. And then when you move it across this line, see how you find the midpoint? I want you to raise it up, and let's type 15 for how high up we want it to go. And then from that line, I want you to move out 15 and press enter. And then from that same center, go 15 again and press enter. We're going to find a new tool right now called the circle tool. And I want you to put your mouse on the circle tool, and then I want you to type 5 for the size of one headlight and 5 for the size of the second headlight. Notice I clicked, let go, and then type my number. Let's go down to our offset. Let's click on the inside of that, and let's go 3 for how far we want to offset the little eyes or the little lights. So once again, I click, let go, type 3, and press enter. With those groovy little eyeballs in place, or headlights, let's go back to our offset, switch to push-pull. I want you to take the inset eye and pull it out 2. I want you to take the outside and pull it out 1. So it makes the little eyes look a little cool. So once again, the outside one is 1, the inside one is 2. Let's make that entire engine a component, so that way the rest of the things we build don't mess it up. So all I did was do select, grab it all, right click on it, and choose make component. I'm going to type engine, and then I'm going to tell it OK so that it stays in that location. So now everything else I build beside it can be touching, but they won't really be part of the engine. Alright friends, this is going to be a little fancier. Rotate so you can see this side right here. And make sure you're patient with this skill because it does take a few times to get it. But once you do, it is a game changer. So let's click on the front corner. Notice we're not in the shape, we're just by the shape. And then we want to be looking at it so that it does on this green plane. And then I want you to type the numbers 25, 30. Because of the measurements I gave you, that'll go all the way up and down from the edge of the train to the bottom. Switch to your space bar and notice this is the wrong face. We kind of want the white on the outside. Right click it and just do reverse faces so that you've got the white on the outside. Find your pencil tool and then you can go from the corner or you can go a little bit in. I don't care. And then I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom for what's called a cow catcher. I'm going to switch to the eraser tool and I'm going to delete those lines. And then I'm going to go push-pull to make my cow catcher come to life. I'm going to type the number 5 and press enter, and that is my cow catcher. Spacebar goes back to the shape, right-click it, and do select all connected. So now I've only got that part selected. It did not grab the train because remember, it is a component. Right-click and choose make component again. I'm going to call this cow catcher. And I'm going to press enter. I'm going to copy this component with a magic skill, my friends. Hold on tight. This is a game changer. Switch to the move. Click on the back corner. Notice it's just moving. If you tap control, it goes into copy mode. Go all the way to the other side. Click let go. Hit the divided by key. Type the number 6 and press enter. And it spreads your cow catcher all the way across your train in one step. Make sure you're careful with those steps. You had to click, hit control, click to set it down, and then immediately hit the divided by to have that awesome payoff where it spreads them out for you. If you're working in a classroom, make sure you help your neighbors. That is the part that I find gets people most confused, but when you're all done, it is also the most awesome. So let's add some wheels to our train. Friends, it is time to add wheels to our sweet little engine. Watch how slick this is because of the math I did for you. Switch to the circle tool. Move to the edge of this line. Make sure you're in a ways because we're going to type a 15 radius and we don't want to bump into that. So click, release, type 15 and press enter for your sweet little wheel. Once again, we want that face to be white, so just right click on it and choose reverse faces. We are going to do push pull and we want to push it out 5 millimeters. Notice that line, we could see it, but it wasn't really connected. When you're done with that, I want you to switch back to the sweet offset tool and we're going to make these look like train wheels by typing 3 for the distance, switching to push pull again. And then with push pull, we're going to push that in 3 millimeters. And then we're going to do offset one more time and click that inside face. And this time I want you to type 9 and press enter. Return to push pull. Grab that inside piece and pull it out too and press enter. You have just made an amazing wheel. Spacebar to get to the selection tool. Click any piece, right click, and then choose selection and do all connected. Right click on that cool little wheel and I want you to make it a component. We're going to call it wheel. I've done this once or twice, so I'm going to put wheel 3 and press enter. Now that we've got that built, we can move it where we want. I'm going to just hit the move tool, and then I want to grab it from this corner. I don't want to grab the front edges, I want to grab the back. And the nice thing about that is it can stay right on that piece that I just created. If I want 2 of these, I can take that move tool, and I can grab that corner again. So I'm clicking that corner. Doing my control, when I tap control it makes it copy and I can simply move it back exactly where I want my second train's wheel to be. Alright friends, let's take these 2 wheels to the other side of our vehicle. Spacebar, shift select, control C to copy, control V to paste, and let's just set them right here. Let's take those 2 pieces and let's do something different. Let's make them a group. Now when you look at them from above, if you hit M for move, they've got an awesome little rotation handle that lets us just spin them 90 degrees so they're facing the correct way. When we do M for move, we can now move to the other side. I rotate with the orbit key, and then if I find this spot on the edge, I can line them up just like I did on the other side. Let's measure this distance right here with our tape measure. From this point to this point is about 7 millimeters. So if I go on this side and I measure back and put in 7, then when I pull this forward, it'll be at the right spot. M is for move, pull it in, and boom. Now we've got our 2 wheels locked in place and they look sweet. Let's quickly build ourselves a rear wheel. Once again, grab your tape measure, and from this back corner we want to go up 15 and press enter. Return to your circle tool, and then from that spot we want to do a radius of 30 and press enter. P for push pull, pull it out, press 5, press enter. Switch to your offset tool once again, and this time let's offset it 10 so it looks a little bigger. And then let's go back to that push pull tool. This time I'm going to use P to push pull, and I'm going to push it in 3 just like last time. Once again, let's return to that sweet offset tool, and let's choose 15 for this offset. And press enter. Go back to your push pull. When you select push pull, click that middle and let's pull it out 2 or 3 again, so that our wheel looks pretty darn wicked cool. Switch to your selection tool, click, right click, choose select all connected, and then we want to make that also a component. I'm going to call it rear wheel and press enter and tell it OK. We need to make a copy of it, so I'm going to do move, and I'm going to grab from this corner. So notice I'm getting to that bottom edge, and when I tap control, it moves into copy mode. I'm going to just stay on that green axis and get it to its right location. Then I'm going to hold down shift. I'm going to do spacebar and click on both of them. And they are lined up, so now I can move them forward. When I hit M for move, I can just click this midpoint and slide them up to where I want, so they're both in the same location. And then the last piece, with that selection tool, then I want to go above the other shape, and I want to make sure that I find the move tool, and that gives me the little handles that let me rotate it 90 degrees. Flip it around so that it's oriented the way it's supposed to be. Alright friends, let's add the top to our train by clicking on the first corner and the second corner and raising it up. If yours spreads out funny, just tap control to switch back to the normal. And we want a 60,10 top to our engine. I want you to simply push pull it out. So I'm going to push pull to this corner, and then I want to add 5 to each side, and I'm going to just do it by hand. I'm going to pull it out 5, pull it out and press 5, pull this face out and press 5, and then I'm going to take the front and I'm going to pull it out 10, just so it looks a little bit different. My friends, that is an awesome little tank engine. Let me show you over here on the right where the materials are for painting. These are the colors that are built in. You can also browse for your colors. I'm going to just go to the colors tab, and then I'm going to pick something I want to put on my train. I'm going to make my train green, and notice when I click, it fills in those entire pieces. I'm going to find black, and I'm going to fill those in on both sides. I'm going to see what it looks like if I use a gray. Gray looks a lot cooler, so I'm going to switch back to gray, so that way they show up. Why not go silly on the little cow catchers? I can make each of them different. It's that easy to paint the different components that we made. I'll put the pink one back on the outside. I think I chose that pink. And then I'm going to put ugly orange up on top. Notice this was not a component, so I have to paint it one piece at a time. Having the other pieces be components allows me to paint them all in one step. Watch this though. If you take the select tool and double click that component, you can go inside and paint the little pieces different, and that way it shows up even cooler when you're done. I'm gonna hit the select tool and click outside to cancel that, and then watch this. One of my favorite things, I'm gonna double click on this component and I'm going to paint its one piece blue. Check it out. They all turn blue when you do that. That's the beauty of creating components, is that you can edit the entire project all at once. I'm going to make my back wheel just a little more awesome by once again selecting in, going down, finding some cool colors. We can also do crazy things like have glass for your axle so you can see inside. And then once again, when you click outside, it actually shows up on every side all at once. Make sure you remember to hit save. They save in a Trimble folder. There will be a SketchUp. If you're at school, you can save it on your Google account. I'm going to call this train, and I'm going to put my initials after it so I don't lose it. Alrighty friends, well I hope you had a ton of fun and made a sweet little tank engine. If you did make something awesome, I'd love to see you share it with us at HLModTech on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And of course friends, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you got a question, comment, or a suggestion, add it down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button. And last but not least, hit the notification bell if you want to be the first to know when there's a brand new video from me, HLModTech. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.